Joe Thompson, the lead investigator into the massive fraud here in Minnesota, has resigned. He is well respected by many in the U.S., the state here, and local leaders. It's not clear who will replace him as lead prosecutor or any of the others who have now resigned.
Clashes continue tonight between immigration agents and demonstrators in Minnesota. This is new video of pepper balls heading into a crowd as protesters kick back tear gas.
Trump's Department of Justice is collapsing from inside, and what's happening is absolutely unprecedented in American history. We're witnessing mass resignations of career prosecutors. 6 federal prosecutors just walked out in Minnesota over DOJ's refusal to investigate ICE agent who killed Renee Good. 4 top officials quit from Civil Rights Division at Maine Justice for same reason. This adds to thousands of DOJ lawyers and staff who have already resigned, been pushed out, or been fired. And it's not random departures. These are coordinated resignations by experienced prosecutors saying they cannot continue working under administration that's destroying rule of law, that's weaponizing justice system, that's protecting killers while going after victims' families. Department of Justice isn't just corrupt anymore, it's criminal enterprise covering up murders and targeting widows, and experienced professionals who spent careers upholding law are refusing to be part of it. This is institutional collapse in real time. But real quick, if you want to stay ahead of the headlines, please subscribe, because you might think you are, but aren't. Your subscription actually matters here. That's why we built John Brown Show, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. All right, let's get into what actually happened this week, because these resignations tell story about how far Trump's DOJ has fallen. 6 federal prosecutors in Minnesota resigned on Tuesday. Not retired, not transferred, resigned in protest. And who was among them? Joseph Thompson, acting United States Attorney who was second in command at U.S. Attorney's Office, career federal prosecutor handling sprawling fraud investigation. One of most important prosecutors in office just walked away. Share this video with everyone you know, because why did Thompson resign? According to New York Times reporting, senior Justice Department officials pressed for criminal investigations into Renee Good's widow. Pressed Thompson to go after woman whose wife was murdered by ICE agent, wanted him to investigate victim's family instead of investigating killer. And Thompson said no, refused, and resigned rather than participate in that corruption. Think about significance of that. Career prosecutor overseeing major fraud cases. Cases that Minneapolis police chief said were crucial for rooting out rampant theft from state agencies. Thompson was doing important work he'd dedicated years to. And he walked away because DOJ ordered him to do something so morally wrong, so legally corrupt, that he couldn't comply. Other senior career prosecutors who resigned with him include Harry Jacobs, Melinda Williams, Thomas Calhoun Lopez, and others. These aren't junior attorneys. These are experienced prosecutors with years of service. People who built careers at DOJ, who survived administrations of both parties, who handled complex cases requiring expertise, all walking out same day for same reason. Cannot work under administration that protects killers and targets victims. Think about what that means. And at exact same time, 4 top DOJ officials quit from Civil Rights Division at Maine Justice. Principal Deputy Chief resigned. Deputy Chief resigned. Acting Deputy Chief resigned. Potentially others as well. That's entire leadership structure of section responsible for investigating civil rights violations. Gone. In coordinated resignations over same issue. Make sure you're subscribed to John Brown Show, because Civil Rights Division was told there would be no investigation of ICE agent who shot Renee Good 3 times in face. Instead, Maine Justice ordered investigations into Renee Good herself, ordered investigations into groups that could be affiliated with her. Woman was murdered and DOJ wants to investigate her associations, wants to build case that she deserved it. That's not justice. That's cover-up combined with character assassination of murder victim. Harry Litman, former federal prosecutor who worked on Rodney King case, said he can't think of parallel in DOJ history except maybe Saturday Night Massacre. These kinds of resignations are ultimate scream from attorneys who stuck through year of outrages but finally hit limit. When experienced prosecutors who've seen everything say they've never seen anything like this, that tells you how bad situation is. Civil Rights Division's criminal section is small specialized unit that goes around country handling excessive force cases. These cases are difficult, require expertise, specialized knowledge. They investigate most cases and turn down majority after investigation because standards are high, conviction is hard, but when clear violation happens, when evidence is overwhelming, they prosecute. That's their job, that's what they do, and they were told to sit this one out. Told not to investigate ICE agent who killed unarmed woman, not to apply expertise they use in every other case, to let this murder slide because administration supports killer. So they resigned, because if they're not doing this case, there's no point in having Civil Rights Division at all. Share this with everyone because, and DOJ didn't just sideline Civil Rights Division. They gave case to U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota. Same office where 6 prosecutors just resigned, gave it to office they're pressuring to investigate victim's widow instead of killer. That allows them to say investigation is ongoing while ensuring nothing happens. Administration already said they support shooter. Trump himself asserted falsely that victim's car hit shooter. How can you do credible investigation when president has already taken killer's side? Minnesota prosecutors who resigned also complained DOJ isn't consulting with state authorities. Normally in these cases, federal and state prosecutors work together. State might try case first under state law. Federal prosecutors coordinate, share evidence, ensure justice is done. But Trump's DOJ is keeping evidence from Minnesota authorities, circling wagons to protect shooter, doing everything possible to shield ICE agent from accountability. This is pattern opposite of what DOJ should do. When credible allegations of homicide exist, when video shows unarmed woman being shot multiple times, when witnesses contradict official story, DOJ should be investigating aggressively, should be working with state authorities, should be ensuring evidence is preserved and reviewed. Instead, they're covering up, blocking access, protecting killer, and going after victim's family. Harry Litman said these joint resignations from field office and Main Justice are screaming through entire department. This is as big an indictment as has been leveled against administration since it took control of Civil Rights Division. Shows experienced prosecutors at every level saying this is too much. This crosses line we cannot cross. This destroys everything DOJ is supposed to stand for. And these resignations come on top of thousands of others. Complete brain drain at DOJ. SDNY had mass resignations when they cut deal with Eric Adams. Other offices had waves of departures at different times. Thousands of lawyers and staff gone, many pushed out, many fired, many resigning because they cannot participate in what Trump is doing. Think about what that means. Who's replacing them? Unqualified loyalists with no experience. Lindsey Halligan appointed as top federal prosecutor for Eastern District of Virginia. Not qualified based on background. Not appropriately appointed under Constitution and laws. Now attacking Trump-appointed judge who said she can't call herself U.S. attorney because she's been disqualified by federal judge. She wrote brief with Bondi and Todd Blanche attacking judge. Said, I'll call myself whatever I want and you have no say over me. That's who's running DOJ now. People with no experience, no qualifications, no respect for judges or law, who attack federal judges for applying Constitution, who claim authority they don't have, who treat positions as personal fiefdoms rather than public trust. These are people destroying institution while experienced professionals flee. Head of Civil Rights Division, Har Dillon, said about people leaving, I think it's fine. We don't want people in federal government who feel like it's their pet project to persecute police based on statistical evidence or persecute people praying outside abortion facilities. Job here is to enforce federal civil rights, not woke ideology. That's head of Civil Rights Division saying he's fine with entire section resigning, dismissing civil rights enforcement as woke ideology. That tells you everything about how DOJ has been corrupted. Civil Rights Division exists to investigate constitutional violations, to hold police accountable when they use excessive force, to protect people's rights regardless of politics. And current leadership views that mission as woke ideology to be eliminated. So experienced prosecutors who actually believe in civil rights are leaving, while hacks who think investigating police brutality is persecution takeover. Share this video because Joseph Thompson's case shows how this affects actual work. He was handling major fraud investigation, prosecuting daycare centers stealing from state programs. important cases that Minneapolis police chief said were crucial, and regime told him, forget fraud cases, go after murder victim's widow instead. When he refused, his resignation dealt major blow to efforts rooting out actual crime. That's pattern across DOJ. Experienced prosecutors leave. Cases get dropped or mishandled. Actual criminals escape justice while administration targets political opponents and victims' families. Trump says he cares about fraud in Minnesota, but he just pushed out Maine prosecutor handling fraud cases because that prosecutor wouldn't investigate widow of woman murdered by ICE agent. Harry Litman made crucial point. These are hard cases. Excessive force prosecutions require careful investigation. Need to examine evidence thoroughly. Build strong case. Work with local authorities. Understand political landscape. Many cases don't result in prosecution because evidence doesn't meet standards. But when case is clear, when violation is obvious, DOJ prosecutes. That's their job. Renee Good case screams out for investigation. Woman shot 3 times in face by ICE agent. Video evidence. Witnesses. Medical examiner ruling it homicide. ICE agent's story contradicted by facts. Bare minimum, this is potential homicide under state law and civil rights violation under federal law. Yet DOJ won't investigate killer. Will investigate victim and her widow instead. That's not justice system, that's criminal cover-up. And experienced prosecutors are saying it publicly through resignations, are refusing to participate, are walking away from careers because staying would make them complicit in corruption they cannot stomach. Think about what that means. Now let me talk about what this means for DOJ as institution, because these aren't just individual departures. This is systematic destruction of capacity and credibility. You lose thousands of experienced attorneys, replace them with unqualified loyalists. Entire departments lose expertise. Cases get mishandled. Institutional knowledge disappears. Quality of work plummets. Civil Rights Division is perfect example. Lost entire leadership of criminal section and coordinated resignations. People who investigated excessive force cases across country, who built relationships with local authorities, who understood complexity of these prosecutions, all gone. Replaced by leadership that views civil rights enforcement as woke ideology. How does that division function anymore? How does it fulfill mission? U.S. Attorney's Office in Minnesota lost acting U.S. Attorney and 5 other senior prosecutors. Who's handling fraud cases Thompson was prosecuting? Who has expertise he built over years? Who has relationships with local law enforcement he developed? You can't just replace that overnight. You can't plug in unqualified loyalists and expect same results. And this is happening in offices across country. Southern District of New York had mass resignations. Other districts seeing departures. Each wave takes experienced prosecutors. Each replacement brings less qualified political appointee. Cumulative effect is DOJ that cannot function as Justice Department, that cannot prosecute complex cases, that cannot uphold rule of law. But that's exactly what Trump wants. Doesn't want DOJ that enforces law fairly. Wants DOJ that protects him and attacks enemies. Wants prosecutors who follow orders, not constitution. Wants institution that serves his interests, not public interests. So, driving out experienced professionals serves his purpose even as it destroys institution. However, there are limits. When prosecutor handling major fraud investigation resigns rather than go after murder victim's widow, those fraud cases suffer. When entire Civil Rights Division leadership quits, civil rights cases don't get investigated. When thousands of attorneys leave, capacity collapses. Trump gets compliant DOJ but also incompetent DOJ that cannot accomplish even his objectives effectively. And resignations create political problem. Each wave of departures generates news coverage, shows experienced professionals saying they cannot work under this corruption, provides evidence for investigations and accountability efforts. Mass resignations become part of record showing DOJ has been destroyed, become exhibits in eventual prosecutions and historical judgments. Bottom line is this: 6 federal prosecutors in Minnesota resigned over DOJ refusing to investigate ICE agent who killed Renee Good while demanding investigation of victim's widow. Joseph Thompson, acting U.S. attorney handling major fraud cases, walked away rather than comply. 5 other senior prosecutors resigned with him for same reason. 4 top officials quit from Civil Rights Division at Main Justice same week. Principal deputy chief, acting deputy chief, all gone. Entire leadership structure resigned in protest over DOJ protecting killer and targeting victim. This adds to thousands who have already left as Trump destroys institution. Civil Rights Division criminal section told to sit out case, despite this being exactly what they do. DOJ gave case to Minnesota office. They're pressuring to investigate widow instead of shooter. Creating appearance of investigation while ensuring nothing happens. Not consulting with state authorities, keeping evidence from them, circling wagons to protect ICE agent. Experienced prosecutors across DOJ saying this is unprecedented corruption. No parallel except Saturday Night Massacre. Coordinated resignations from field and main justice screaming through department. Biggest indictment of administration since it took over Civil Rights Division. Shows people at every level refusing to participate, being replaced by unqualified loyalists. Lindsey Halligan attacking judges. Har Dillon saying he's fine with experienced prosecutors leaving. People with no respect for law or judges or constitution taking over positions requiring expertise and integrity. Quality and capacity collapsing as brain drain continues. This affects actual cases. Fraud investigations suffering. Civil rights violations going uninvestigated. Criminals escaping while victims get targeted. DOJ transformed from Justice Department into criminal enterprise covering up murders and prosecuting widows. Experienced professionals fleeing. Institution destroyed. All by design to serve Trump's interests over public interest. This story continues. Stay tuned.